Okay, so the account planner at the agency is the manager within the client-agency relationship that really is responsible for doing a lot of the research. The account planner really manages and kind of takes the place of the consumer in the overall planning situation, right? You've got a number of people who work on that agency account managing the client relationship. The account planner is the one that does all of the homework and the research representing the industry and the consumer themselves. And he really ensures that the advertising strategy, right, and we're going to talk about kind of several different kinds of strategies tonight, are relevant to the target audience. If I use the term target audience, who are we really talking about in terms of advertising?
Your ideal customer?
Your ideal customer, absolutely right. So when we were asking tonight, you know, Socrates, for instance, who are your customers? In a business-to-business perspective, he was able to say, well, it's these kinds of companies who have these kinds of needs. If this was a business-to-consumer, your target audience would be maybe defined by demographics or psychographics. Okay, we talked about those two terms a few weeks ago. Well, how do you define demographics or psychographics? What is the difference between those two?
Psychographics, the lifestyle.
Yeah, the lifestyle, behavior, attitudes, interests, opinions. Yeah, absolutely right. So how about demographics? What are those?
Age, gender,
Area.
family size.
Perfect. So when we want to define the target audience, what we're saying in agency terms is we want to learn everything we can possible about the people we want to sell our product or service to so that our communication is right on the money, okay? So we learned a lot tonight about Sandy's business, about Socrates' business, about Brian's business, and about Cindy's. Mind you, this is all business to business, but those same kinds of conversations occur within an agency when you're talking about who is the consumer around the Trix brand for breakfast cereal, right? So if I was to say, let's go back and say Trix. Who is the consumer for that product?
Stoners.
5-year-olds, right? Totally right. Yeah, so that's right. Or Hunt Snack Pack, which was the brand that I worked on for years and years, right? It's, you know, little kids, right? Maybe up to 11 years old or something. And then you really want to totally understand everything about what drives an 11-year-old to want to eat pudding. A lot of times it's going to be mom, actually. Because what happens is you've got like a nag factor. You know, you ever go through the grocery store and see mom taking this little 4-year-old by the hand and the kid getting to the certain box of cereal that they really want and then pitching a complete fit because they didn't get their cereal that they wanted? You've seen this? Who's really driving the purchase in that occasion, you guys? Is it mom who's got the money, or is it the kid?
It's a kid.
It's the kid. So market research people, what do you think they do?
Manipulating the kid.
They manipulate the kid. So we're going to talk about those kinds of things this evening. It's about understanding. So actually, when they look at designing a box of cereal for that little kid, they'll do pupil tracking studies. And they'll actually design the box, and they're putting it on the shelf where it's about eye level for that 4-year-old. And that little rabbit, he's drawn on that box in such a way that his eyes are looking directly into that 4-year-old's eyes. It's scary. But they're doing this really intentionally, you know. So, market research. It's a systematic gathering and recording and analysis of information that helps managers make marketing decisions, okay? And it identifies the consumer needs and the market segments. So in marketing, remember we've talked about this a few times. In marketing, we do what? We identify needs and we satisfy wants. Well, if you think about that definition, identifying needs, it's all about research, isn't it? Right? Because you're looking for needs that have not been necessarily delivered on in that same unique way that you're attempting to. And satisfying wants, well, we have to know an awful lot about something called consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is all about how do consumers make decisions when they're in that buying process. And so we have to know all about the things that are filtering through their heads And that totally comes out of research, okay? And then it helps, we use it to help develop new products. When we identify needs and we go about satisfying wants, we're also looking for a gap. Where is there current in the market something called a blue ocean? You guys have heard about blue ocean strategies? You ever heard that term before? The idea is we're in a world that's chock full of competition. So what is it that we can do to fish in a sea that's relatively unfished? And we're looking for unique opportunities out there where we can establish our own credible point of difference. Okay? So that you're perceived as different. I mean, Lee has a really interesting business model. She's the only person I know that's in business to do what she does, which is sell, hopefully, millions of websites to millions of people who want to go into this thing that otherwise has been really the domain of large companies and agencies or lead aggregators who are and saying, hey, actually, this is a lot simpler than people are making it. Let's come up with a simple way for small people to service small businesses and make money online. It's a really interesting thing. She found her own little bit of blue ocean. A new strategy could be a new media campaign. It could be a new product launch. It could be a new market segmentation strategy. It could be anything, right? But to do all of it, you're using marketing research. Marketing research is the brain behind the business. Okay? We look at the stuff that we see in advertising is all sort of the sexy, glitzy, highly polished stuff. But behind all of it, there's a ton of sweat and weightlifting that has to happen from a research perspective first.